Hi there, Crafts and Create Club. Welcome to this month's video for our holiday box. We are so excited. We have a ton of stuff in store for you guys this month, so let's see what's in the box. Alright, before we look in the box, we have a really fun surprise for you guys. We have new boxes. These we've been working on for a while and they look so cute and they're even bigger, so they have more stuff to hold for all of our Crafts and Create Club members. Let's look inside and see what's in here. So, we're gonna open it up right here. And to start out, of course, we've got our instruction booklet. Then, let's see the stuff we have for our first project. We've got this jar, which is gonna be for our snow globe. And then, we've got some little trees and some little toys and things for you guys to put in your snow globes. That's super exciting. We've got this little guy of glue for you guys to use. This little cellophane string stuff that you guys are going to cut up and put into your snow globe. Then we've got some glitter in here, some glycerin in here, and then this starts on our next project. We got some brown paint, and then 2 tubes with red, white, and green paint, and that is going to be for our ornaments that we're going to make. So we've got 2 of them here for you guys, so you guys get to make 2. And lastly, we've got a little paintbrush. So we've got all our stuff now. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so our very first step is going to be to glue down all of our figurines. So we want to do this the night before we're planning to do the rest of our project. So the reason for this is that our glue needs 24 hours to dry before we can submerge it into the water. So as you can see here, my glue looks really big. You guys have much smaller tubes, but it's the same thing. And don't worry, you guys have more than enough glue. First, we're going to take some glue and we're just going to do a little dab at the base of our tree. So you might have 2 trees, you might have 1 tree, it all depends. So we're just going to put a dab there, and then we're going to screw in the bottom to make sure that it's nice and secure and our trees don't come apart. We're going to do that to both of our trees or 1 tree. So everyone has different things in their box, so everyone's snow globe is going to look different. You might have 2 toys, you might have 2 trees, you know, everyone's is different, and you're going to be able to work and kind of customize your snow globe exactly how you want it to look. So what I'm going to be using is this little Santa hat house and then this little bear. And I also am going to try to use both my trees. So our first step that we're going to do is try to arrange our toys in our jar. So we want to try to figure out how many we can put in there and what way that we think it looks best. So we can go ahead and lay them out roughly how we think we're going to do it. I'm actually going to end up leaving out my little bear because he just doesn't fit too well, and I want to do my little tree instead of him. The only thing we really need to make sure of is this little white seal around here. We cannot get any glue on that. Then we can go ahead and put our jar lid on just to test it and make sure that everything stays in place and nothing doesn't fit in there. Now we can carefully take those out of our jar and go ahead and glue it down. We just need a small dab of glue at the bottom, and we're going to push it down on our lid and hold it for a few seconds. Lastly, all we have to do is let this dry for at least 24 hours before we move on to the next parts of our project. Alright guys. Alright, so we're going to start out just with a paper plate. This is optional, but it's going to help us to kind of contain some of our mess. And we're going to use our little bag of cellophane strings. So I'm just going to empty this all out here. And then we're going to go ahead, and you can use as many strings as you want at a time. I'm going to try to do like 2 or 3 at a time just to make it a little bit faster. Set the rest to the side. And then all we have to do is cut them up into little pieces. So they're a little hard to cut. You might want to hold the end while you cut them. And we're just going to cut them into little pieces. So you don't want to do them any bigger than this piece right here. You could do them smaller for sure. So you're just going to go ahead and do this with all your pieces of cellophane. And like I said, you could do multiple pieces at a time, whatever is easiest for you. Alright, so now I've got all my little pieces here. You can tell there's a bunch of different sizes. You guys can do exactly, whatever you guys want to do. So I've got some long ones, some square ones, and then some little slivers, but you guys make them however you want to make them. However you think it'll look best in your snow globe. So we're going to take our jar, and we're just going to carefully bring all of our little cut pieces together and sprinkle them right in here. So, brush them off of our plate. We want to get as many in there as we can. Alright, we got our jar filled up. It's already looking super pretty. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our little pot with glitter in it. We're going to carefully open this. We do not want it to explode everywhere. Oop, there we go. And now we're going to dump in our glitter. So we can kind of mix that up a little bit. I got a few more slivers on my table that I'm going to pick up. Alright, so now what we're going to need is some water. You can use distilled water, which is going to prevent it from yellowing. However, if you use tap water, it might eventually yellow. So that one's totally up to you guys. I'm just using tap water today, but whatever you think is going to be best. I am going to put this down on my plate again because we're going to try to fill it as high as we can. We do not want any air pockets. So now I'm just going to take my water and I'm going to pour it in. Alright, and now that I'm about halfway, a little bit more, it doesn't really matter, I'm just going to take my glycerin, once again carefully opening it so it doesn't pop, and I'm going to pour in that little container of it. You want to tap it in there, get as much in as you possibly can. What this is going to do is this is going to help our glitter to be suspended. So it's kind of going to float all pretty in there. And what we can actually also do is take this other end of our paintbrush and use that to kind of scrape out any excess glycerin in there to try and get it in our pot. Alright, and then just make sure you wipe off the end of this. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill our jar the rest of the way up. And we want to try to leave as little room in there as possible. You can already see our glitter kind of dancing around. So I'm going to try it right like this. And the reason I'm going to do it over a plate is because when I put the top of my jar in with all my little toys on it, it might overflow, but we want it to overflow a little bit. So now I'm going to go ahead and stick this in here. Alright, mine doesn't quite overflow, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just pour a little bit more water in there. Like I said, we want it to be as full as possible. Alright, push our lid in, and I had a little drip out, which means it is max capacity filled. So now we're just going to screw it closed, and we can look at this. We could shake it a little bit, and look how cool our snow globe is. So now all you want to do is just make sure that everything kind of looks good in there. I do have some air bubbles, so I'm going to try my best to get those out. Our trees actually make our water blue, which we kind of think looks really cool. If you guys don't like that, you can do just your toys, but we think the blue is actually kind of perfect for our snow globe. Now what we're going to do is we're going to glue down our lid so that we can totally secure it. Alright, so we're just going to go on our jar. What we're going to do, we're going to put glue all around this ring right here. You want to be careful not to get it in the water or on your fingers. A nice thick layer of glue, because this is what's going to make us waterproof. So we can even go ahead, if we'd like, and add some along the side of our jar, just to really seal it in, because we want to be able to use the snow globe without any water leaking out. And now the only thing left to do is to take our little trees and our toys, put our lid in, and screw it in nice and tight. You might need an adult's help with this, just to make sure it is as tight as it can be. So now we're going to go ahead and let it dry upside down for 24 hours so that glue can totally set. Here's what it looks like right now. We can shake it, and oh my gosh, it looks perfect. Our snow globes look great like this, but we have a few other tips that can help you guys spice it up even more. I'm going to take some ribbon, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue it around the bottom of my snow globe. It's totally optional, but we do think it'll spice up your globe a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and just slice it right there. And once again, we're going to use our glue, so we do want to be kind of careful. I'm just going to put a few dots all the way around. Maybe try to spread it a little bit. And now I'm just going to take my ribbon and line it up all around my little cap. There we go. I think it just adds such a cute little touch, some glitter on the bottom. So now once again, that has to set for 24 hours. Alright guys, our last little optional step is we included this bag of fake snow. So what you can do is take your glue, and we're going to put glue all over the top of this and sprinkle some fake snow on. This is totally optional, up to you guys. We just think it really adds to the snow globe effect. So I'm going to take my glue, and I'm just going to use completely the glue tube for this so that it's all kind of contained. And you can also use some Elmer's glue if you'd like, but we did provide this one for you guys. So we're going to take this, squirt it all over the top. And we're also just going to use the nozzle of it to spread it. So I'm also going to come down here and drip it onto my sides a little bit. So I think this might look cool. Okay, so now I've got all my drips on there. Like I said, totally optional to do the drip, to do the top, but I'm going to take it and put this on a plate. We have to be super careful with our jar now because it is filled with super duper sticky glue. I'm going to take my snow now, and I'm just going to sprinkle it all over the top of my jar. And then also, if you did drips on the side, we're going to sprinkle it on there as well. Come carefully lift it up. And sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle it all over. I'm doing mine over a plate so that if any of it falls off, like you're seeing it is, I could just pick it up and try to put it back on there. Sprinkle this everywhere. This is already looking super cute, guys. I think this adds a really nice touch to our little snow globes. Alright. Come over, sprinkle some more on the top. And you guys probably guessed it, now we're going to let it completely dry.
Alright, I'm back for a project on this video. So here we're going to start working on our ornament project. So what you're going to need from your box, you're going to need your paint pots, you're going to need your ornaments, and then you're also going to need your small brush. Make sure you get yourself a paper plate or something that you can mix some paint on. That's okay that it gets messy. Okay, so get one of your ornaments, take the lid out, you can just pull it out like that, set that part aside. Then you're going to take, and if you have like a small plastic cup or something, if you don't feel comfortable holding it, you could set it down in something so it's easier to manage, but you'll be fine. Start with whatever color you want. Open up your paint pot. Just open up one at a time. Only work with one at a time and close them all before you start a new color so that you don't make a bigger mess. And then you're just gonna pour the paint right into the ornament. And we're gonna end up swirling it all around. And I'm actually turning the ornament as I go. And it's kind of clinging to the side inside, but that's okay. Okay, now when you get close to the bottom, we are gonna end up using this tiny little bit of red paint, not much of it, but just a little bit of it when we do part of this project. So just close it up and then you can switch to the next color, whatever color you want. If you want your ornament to only be 2 colors, you can only do 2 colors. If you want to do all 3, do all 3. Keep a paper towel close by too if you need to, just to clean up. Okay, so when you have all 3 pots emptied, so this is what it's going to look like right now. You You can kind of see the colors swirling together and stuff. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to spin it around. We're going to let those colors kind of just keep going. You can take it in your hands and you can roll it around like this. The paint's not going to move super fast, so you don't have to worry about it spilling all over. Spin it on the table. This is going to take a few minutes to do this. So you want to get it almost completely coated. You're going to let it move around. It actually helps to just kind of, you could roll it across your table. So when you're all done, it's going to look something like, this is what mine turned out to be. Yours might look a little bit different, but everyone's going to turn out just a tiny bit different. But the coat, it will coat all the way around if you took the time to go ahead and spin it up and spin it, keep spinning it around. You will stick the topper back inside of it, and you are going to let it dry overnight. But you don't necessarily need it to dry to start the next step. If you like your ornaments just like this, leave them just like this. If you want to put some ribbon on it or play with it or make it crafty however you want, definitely do whatever you want. And I definitely want to see pictures of these, so share them please. Now I'm just going to set this one here into a little, inside of the little roll of tape that I have. Like I said, you can use a cup, whatever you've got, a bowl, just so it can kind of set inside there, and just keep turning it and let it work. So now with this one, I'm ready to make my reindeer decorations on the side. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a little bit of the brown. Actually, you can use most of the brown. Put it onto your paper plate. Okay. Then, and you can close it up while you're not working with it if you like. Then come back to your little white paint pot, and we just want to make this a little bit lighter brown, because this is for the reindeer's face. So we just want the reindeer's face to just be a little bit lighter than the reindeer's antlers. So I'm just taking out the little excess of white that's in the bottom of the paint pot, and I'm putting it here, and I'm just turning that brown just a little bit lighter brown. So it almost looks like the color of hot cocoa. If you want it to be a little bit lighter, you absolutely can do that. Just get more of your white paint, swirl it in there. Okay, don't forget to rinse your brushes out so that you can switch between colors. But what we're going to do now is we're going to start by using your thumb. Keep a paper towel close by. We're going to use our thumb to make a thumbprint as our reindeer's face. All right, so just take your thumb, put it down in the paint. Get some of it off though on the plate, because you don't want to glob it onto your ornament. So it's not super thick. Okay, and then just take your finger and put it right over the ornament like that. Okay, so I'm going over it a few times so that I can see it really well on the ornament. Now be careful, because you don't want to smudge this side, but now you can stick your finger back in the paint and do another side. You could do one on this side too. I'm going to put another one on this side. All right, so at this point we've got just 4 brown faces. And it starts to dry really quickly, and if you don't think it's dark enough, you can go back over it. But this already started to dry just by me turning the bulb and starting on another one. So you don't want to make it too big, because this is the face of our reindeer. So at this point, what you're going to have is you're going to have your thumbprints around the side in your brown paint. Now you want to be able to make sure this is nice and dry before we do anything more. So either sit it in that cup to where those brown spots won't get jarred up or marked up or anything. Or if you have a hair dryer, you can take a hair dryer and just really lightly, not super hot, but really lightly go over that, and that will dry it up really quickly. Once your thumbprints are dry, now you're ready to paint on your reindeer faces. We're going to do Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer on these. So you'll start with, grab your other paint pot that you didn't use all the color for. You only need a tiny bit from the bottom, so you're fine. Start with the white first because your brush is clean and the white will stay white. Make sure you have some water with you so that you can clean your brush as well and some paper toweling. And all you're going to do is make 2 little dots for the face. Okay, and then switch to the other side. Be careful as you move around the ornament because you don't want to smudge what you've already done. So hold it at the top. Go to the red pot. And you're just going to put Rudolph's nose right there under his eyes. Now if you want to make any of your deer not Rudolph's, you absolutely can. You're just going to use your dark brown paint and go over it and put a brown nose instead of a red nose. But completely up to you. I want you to get creative and do whatever you want. Okay, so now we've got red and white. We've got our white eyes and we've got our red noses. And then we're gonna put our brush now in that dark brown pot. So the part that we didn't use from our thumbprints, go back to the dark part. And we're gonna do little antlers. So we're gonna come right out the top. And we're just gonna put like little V shapes. Okay, and then if you want to put just a tiny smile on Rudolph, you can put that too. Be really careful. If you mess up a little bit, remember you can always dip your finger back in and you can go right over the top of it. So you always can do that with an acrylic plate. You can go right over the top of it and just start over and re-dry them. All right, so there's one. I'm going to come over to my next one. All right. So once you're all done, let it dry. And then I want to see pictures of your ornaments hanging on your Christmas tree.
All right, guys, that wraps up this month's holiday box. We hope you enjoy making your snow globe and your 2 little reindeer ornaments. As always, send us pictures of your crafts so we want to see them, videos you guys doing it, whatever you guys like. Use the hashtag #CraftingCreateClub. We hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. We'll see you guys next year. Goodbye.